Hi everyone, welcome to Seasonal Eating to Thrive Spring, our first online course, and I'm happy that everybody's here. So we're going to get right to work. We've got lots of class information planned. So the first thing I'm going to start with is fish. We're going to do a protein each day, and so today we're going to do fish. I have this beautiful halibuts from the Monterey Bay. You could replace salmon with this or cod, whatever you can get. And what I did was you have the recipe for the roast halibut with shaved asparagus and fennel salad. So that's what we're going to make. And it gives you the instructions of soaking the fish for 10 minutes in salt water. You don't have to do that. You can completely skip that step, but it just flavors the fish really nicely. So I did that, and then I let it sit out to get nice and dry. So I'm going to do the fish in two different ways. Oven's ready. I'm going to do one piece in the oven, and I'm going to do one piece seared on the stove, just so you can see the difference and how it works, okay? So for our piece that we're doing in the oven, I'm just going to, let's see, I think I'll do the big one in the oven, okay? Now, fish takes 10 to 12 minutes per inch to cook. So I've got my ruler here. I'm going to measure the thickest part of the fish, which is almost exactly an inch. So this should take about 10 to 12 minutes to cook. Okay, I'm going to put this one over here. And then I have a mixture, very simple mixture of fresh breadcrumbs, and I have the butter, and I have the lemon zest. I use a zester like this and just zest the lemon in here. Now some of you are advanced cooks, some of you are just starting out, some of you love to cook, some of you probably don't like to cook that much, but just know that you need to. So I'm going to incorporate everything. I'm going to assume nobody knows anything, and that way I won't skip a step for those of you that are really just learning, and you can always learn something new. So butter, the breadcrumbs, and then I have fresh thyme. If you don't have fresh thyme, you don't want to buy fresh thyme, you can just use dried thyme, and you would just use a pinch. So I'm just going to peel it off the stem like this, and some of it I'm going to put, I have some olives here. This is going to be for later, but I'm going to just put some fresh thyme in with this. This is going to be my little snack later on. So I'll put some fresh thyme in there. Okay. And then we're going to add it to, I'm going to chop it just a little bit. I lost my knife. Okay, so I'm going to just chop this a little bit, like so, and add it in here. And that is it. It's just super, super simple. And then I'm just going to pack it right onto my fish like that. Because it's got the butter, it'll stick. Now, if you're not eating gluten, you could really easily do a gluten-free bread with this. That would work just as well. So this is going to just be a really simple dish, but really delicious and a nice crust, okay? I'm not going to put it in the oven yet. I'm just going to bring it over here. So that's ready. Now when I cook, I always have a towel. I always have a clean, wet washcloth, and I have a bowl for all my trash so that I don't have to be moving around and going to the trash and wiping my hands and all that. Just makes it for a quick, easy, clean cooking, okay? So let's see, next thing we're gonna do is we're going to do an herb pesto. So I have an herb pesto in the recipe packet that I gave you, or just an herb sauce. And then on the website, I've got 4 or 5 springtime herb sauces. So herbs are just packed with nutrients, and this is when they're really growing, is during spring and to a certain extent in summer. So all of this is from the same family. So this is the tops to carrots. If you're getting carrots from the farmer's market, then you can get these really nice fresh carrot tops. So I save those and I use them in my pestos. So this is going in my, actually I'm gonna do the garlic first. So same family, carrot, fresh dill is also from the same family. So anything from the same family naturally goes together, even though the flavors are really different. There's a little brown piece there. I've got a little bit of arugula, which is actually from the cabbage family. So, and I don't have very much of it. And then I have a bunch of parsley, which is also from the same family. So we're just gonna do a mixture. You know, you can use whatever you want with this. You could make a traditional pesto, which would be basil, of course, which is not really in season yet, so I would wait on that. It's expensive right now. You know, whatever's not in season is expensive. So I'll just do that little pile. And, oh, you know what I forgot? I was gonna chop this parsley and add it to the fish, but since I forgot, we'll leave that out. Okay, so we're gonna do my retro blender. A regular blender works, a Cuisinart works. And then I'm gonna take my garlic. Uh-oh, would you mind turning off the air conditioning? I'll stand right here. So, I don't know, maybe it's okay. Okay, so here's the stem of the garlic. I am going to just cut that off. Okay, it still has the skin. I'm gonna throw the trash in my bowl. And then I'm going to just pound it a little bit, and that just pops it right out so that I don't have to touch it and get my fingers all garlicky. And then I'm going to cut it in half and just see if there is, this is the sperm, this is the little part that wants to start to grow. Sometimes it's green and it actually is sticking out. Here's the bigger piece right here. So it's hard and it starts to sprout. This is garlic that was grown last year, right? So it's wanting to be planted. Take this out. If you're cooking something like a stew where it's cooking for a long time, it doesn't really matter. But we're gonna have it raw. So I'm gonna turn this on. We don't know how to turn it off. Okay, we're just gonna drop that in there. And then we are going to add my herbs. Now, what I do with this is when I have herbs, I make an herb pesto, and then I freeze it. So sometimes I freeze it in little paper Dixie cups, because then when I put them on a tray, have my little Dixie cups. When they're frozen, I can just throw them in a Ziploc bag. I can peel the paper off. You could do them in Tupperware. Some people like to freeze them in ice cube trays. I don't, because then you have to clean the ice cube tray and get the oil out, and that's a hassle. So I don't do that. So however you want to freeze it, it freezes really well. And you can use it, you know, on pastas, with frittatas or eggs, all kinds of things. We're going to use it in a dressing. Okay, so I'm going to do capers. I am going to do a little lemon juice. And like I said, you're going to have the recipes for this. So not to worry. Okay, this is a huge lemon. So we're just going to go like that. Okay, we're going to add a little acid to it. Oh, the joys. Okay, that's why you have a wet cloth next to you. So I'm going to do a little more lemon slowly. Like that. And then I'm going to let it go, let it rip. Add my olive oil. See how long this takes. And make sure you turn off the blender before you put anything in it. made that mistake, okay? So. Now, I put capers in it, so do I need salt? I don't know. I could put Parmesan cheese in here. I could put chili flakes, make it a little spicy. I tend to like to keep it simple, and then maybe I'll add something later. Really good. It just needs to be blended a little bit more. I want it to be nice and green. That's good. I'm just going to leave it like this. So I have this beautiful sauce. We've just packed about 3 cups, maybe more, of herbs into this. So super packed with nutrients. Then what I'm going to do, this is going to go with our fish, is like a remoulade sauce, which is an herb sauce. So I do 1/3 yogurt, 1/3 mayonnaise, and about 1/3 of the herb sauce to taste. So I'm using an organic, full fat, you want full fat yogurt. And then normally I make my own mayonnaise. I love mayonnaise made with, olive oil. It's really expensive to buy, but if you're going to buy mayonnaise, the one that I recommend is Primal Kitchen. They use avocado oil. It's organic, and there are no chemicals or cheap vegetable oils in here. It's expensive. You can actually get it at a grocery outlet. It's expensive, but it's well worth it. And we'll talk more about this in the lectures, okay? I just wanted to show you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of my herb sauce to this. Could add some anchovies, would also be delicious in this. So you can really come up with a lot of different flavors. Okay, so this is going to be my sauce to serve with the fish. I'm going to stick this in the fridge. I think it needs a tiny bit more. Okay. Another thing you can add to this is a little bit of the juice from sauerkraut. So this is wild brine sauerkraut. This is from Costco. And you could add a little bit to that. That'll give it a little fermented kick. Another option, and we're going to be talking about this in the Zoom classes, is miso. Miso is fermented soybean. A little bit of that in there, and you've also given it a probiotic kick. So I'm going to put this in the fridge. And we are going to move on. So, I don't know, can you get this out of the way, Steph? Am I? Okay. Keep this right here. Okay, so next on our list, clean this up a little bit, is we're going to blanch vegetables next. No, we're going to, yeah, let's do that. So we're going to come over here. So I went to the market, the farmer's market, and I got all kinds of vegetables. I go, on the weekend or whenever you can go to the farmer's market, you can go once a week, right? They're not available all week long. So I buy most of my vegetables in one shot. You can also use a farm box program, and we'll talk about that in the resources section. And so everything is spring right now. There are the little sugar snap peas, asparagus. These are fava beans, which are a little bit laborious to, peel. You've got to peel each one. And as they get older, you really need to actually take the skin off. My tip, if you've got kids around, this is like the best job for kids. I think the first kitchen job that my kids had was shelling fava beans. Am I right? Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, they did all the shelling. And they would just hang out around the kitchen table, and I'd give them the beans. And so this is a great job for kids. That and tearing lettuce. You've got little. I know some of you have little ones. So tearing lettuce, because who wants to make salad every night and make them shell all the fava beans? Okay, and then the asparagus, I've already snapped. Let's see what I have. Got a couple here that I saved. So they're dry and tough at the end, so when you snap them, they will break just naturally where they want to break, where it's tender. Okay, so done that. And then these are Romano beans. So what I'm doing right now is I'm prepping for tomorrow night and the next night. If I've got time, I can prep all these vegetables and then have them and be able to pull them out. So tomorrow we're going to use these, or the next lesson we're going to use these vegetables in all sorts of different ways. So I have a pot of boiling water, just plain water. I'm going to blanch all these vegetables. Spring is a great time to use this technique of blanching. So I already cut off their little ends. I like to have all my tools kind of at hand so that I don't have to be hunting around in drawers. So these are just going to boil in the plain water, no salt, and I just want to bring a bunch of bright green color, and then they won't be cooked all the way because we're going to cook them tomorrow. So I want them to be really crisp and just beginning with the cooking. And we will also do the sugar snap peas. So these I just need to take the ends off. A little bit more complicated for little ones, but I could probably do it. So we're going to do these, and these just take a moment, 1 minute, something like that. So everything is green in spring. I love it. I love all the spring vegetables. And something about cooking seasonally is you can look forward to things instead of just sort of like feeling tired of the same old thing. Okay, so these have been in here for about a minute. I'm going to stick it in the ice water just so I don't burn myself. Okay, so it's just about done. These are just about done. Not quite. If I was going to serve them right now, I would let them cook a little bit more. So I'm going to stop the cooking. And I think these guys are done too. They just take a minute. Colander or like a sieve would be a little smarter right now, but I don't have it. Okay, getting in the ice water. So by putting them in the ice water, it stops the cooking and it will keep the really nice bright green color. Okay, let's see. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this, are they gonna fit? Yay! And then I'm gonna put all these guys in. What am I gonna do with these? I don't know, I haven't decided yet. Find out. So there's that. Okay, now again, the asparagus is really tender already, so it won't take very long either. I'll save this. So what I like to do is blanch a bunch of vegetables when I have time, and then I put them in a container with a little paper towel, try to get the ice out. And so these will be perfect for tomorrow. Okay, there we go. And then these will last in the fridge. You don't want them sitting in the ice water for a long time because you don't want them to get, waterlogged, right? But just enough to get close. So see how bright green they are? They look really pretty. So this will be, I don't know, what do you want to have for dinner, Director?
I don't know.
Okay, and I just keep them separate so that I, if I want to use one over the other. These guys are still going. And I can take one out. Okay, so if I pop it, I can see it's nice and bright green. Okay, so that's probably done. So we will stop these from cooking, and that is done. Now this can be done with carrots. It can be done with green beans. And what you don't want to do is do this in the summer, which if you think about it, you don't want to be, standing over a hot pot of boiling water in the summer. But almost all vegetables, summer vegetables, have so much water in them already that if you added them into a pot of boiling water like zucchini, eggplant, tomatoes, they would either just fall apart or just absorb a ton of water. So don't want to do that. Okay, so here's my vegetables. This will last me a day or two, but you could do a week's worth of vegetables like this if you wanted to. And in the fridge, they'll last, I would say, 3 to 4 days. Nicely, great to pull out and just have with vegetables and dip, like the dip that we just made. Okay. So, I'm just going to leave this here for now, and we're going to go back over here. Okay. So the next thing we are going to do is, I want to go over the recipe with you. So the recipe is roast halibut, shaved asparagus, and fennel salad. So another method for cooking vegetables in the spring and summer is just by salting them, okay? So what we're going to do is go like so. You know what, maybe what I'll do is I'll put the fish in the oven. Yeah, I think I'll put the fish in the oven first. So I'm going to add some potatoes. And since we've got the oven going, this would also be nice with little tiny new potatoes, the little tiny colored new potatoes that you can get in the farmer's market or the grocery store. So for these guys, just going to add them. So you could use, for this, you could use Silpat, which is the synthetic map that is non-stick. I like to use parchment paper. I get it on Amazon and it comes in sheets. This is unbleached, so that's nice. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit of olive oil, like that. A little bit of salt. I always use my fingers. I put my salt in a bowl. I use sea salt, coarse sea salt, and then we'll use fresh pepper. I don't use iodized salt. I don't like the flavor, and I think that this is much more rich in minerals. So we're just going to toss this around a little bit. Okay. Now, We need a timer for 10 minutes. You get your phone? Okay. Okay, so that's gonna go. That'll take about 10 minutes. We're at 25 minutes? Okay. So next thing I'm gonna do is make the dressing. So the dressing for, I just wanna make sure I do what I'm supposed to do, yeah. For the dressing for the fish, we're gonna do capers that are going to be chopped. So, just a little bit. Okay. If you don't like capers, you could leave it out. That would be totally fine. Okay. And then we're going to do just a little bit of Dijon mustard. And our lemon juice. We're having fish, so we want the acid to be kind of matching what we did on the fish, and lemon juice of course is really good with fish. Also it's not as acidic as vinegar, which would be kind of harsh. Okay, and then I'm just going to add a little olive oil to that, and that's our dressing. So there's that. Now for the salad, this is what's going to go with the fish. Well, I should add the olive oil. Okay, so we're going to just add the olive oil to taste. Should be about 1 part vinegar to 3 parts oil. So super simple, super simple. And then this is fennel. Okay, so I probably am going to take this outside piece off. It looks pretty tough. I did wash it. And if it has a big core in the center, you can take the core out like that. We'll be doing a little bit of knife skills, but I also have that on my website as well, or on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, so what I'm going to do is slice this really thinly. That's the key. You want a sharp knife. I'm going to slice it really thinly. So this has a wonderful anise flavor to it, and is also same family as the dill and parsley. They all have similar flavors. Okay, so that's going to go in here. Now, there's 2 ways you can do this asparagus. One is the easiest way, which is just slicing it at a diagonal and just doing it as thinly as you can, like this. We want it to be nice and thin. And so what we're going to do is we're going to salt it. We're going to salt the vegetables, and that's going to pull out the juices, which will tenderize the vegetables. So we're going to be eating this asparagus. Asparagus is very alkaline. As a matter of fact, most vegetables in spring are very detoxifying. So that includes asparagus, artichokes, and they're all very alkaline rather than being acidic, and all extremely good for your liver and gallbladder, which is important. So, okay, so we're going to do that. The other way you can do the salad, if you want to be fancy and you have lots of time, is you can do long ribbons like this, which looks really wonderful once it's all done on the plate. It also takes a long time to do. So, you know, if you're working in a fancy restaurant, you could do this. And I'll just do one more. and it sort of looks like pasta ribbons once it gets soft. Like so. And it works a little bit better if you have bigger, big fat asparagus. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, like that. And we're just gonna let this marinate for a little while. And you'll see that it just pulls out okay? It's gonna pull out the moisture. So I'm gonna kind of massage it a little bit. I wanna sort of break down the cell walls and get it nice and juicy like that. You can see it's already getting shiny. The water immediately starts pulling out. Okay? So I just have to check my list because we've got lots going on. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I've got some dry cured olives here. I don't know, I'm looking at you. That's okay. I'm gonna run out of time. That's fine. Okay, so I've got the olives here. And this is a summertime appetizer that my family loves. A little bit of olive oil, some spicy chili flakes, maybe some garlic, but I'm just gonna use the herb sauce and then serve it with toothpicks. I think I'll add some chili flakes maybe, and in a little dish. Okay, it's delicious. This is so good together. So, glass of rosé, this is a perfect thing to serve sitting outside with a charcuterie board, that kind of thing. Okay. Now we're gonna do a salad and see if our fish is done. So let me just clean up a little bit. So I've got my dressing. Maybe I'll put some pepper, that's it. Okay, and then, so lettuce. Also, going crazy in the springtime. This is baby red leaf lettuce. It's also called butter crunch. It's like a cross between romaine and like a loose leaf red. It's crunchy and sweet, really nice. The farmer's market is really the place to go in spring. So what I do is I fill up my salad bowl with water in the sink. I break apart my lettuce, and I haven't ripped it or cut it or anything. I've just broken apart the leaves. I fill it with water. I swish it around. I let it sit for a few minutes, and then I pull out the basket. If there's sand in the bottom, I pour out the water, and then if there's sand in the bottom, I do it again until I pour out the water and there's absolutely no sand. Then I know that the lettuce is clean. Okay, then I spin it. And then I will put it in a Tupperware, maybe a different one, with paper towel to wick away the moisture, or I can do like a Ziploc bag with paper towel in it. And this will last 2, 3, 4 days, nice and clean. So wash your lettuce, wash a couple heads of lettuce rather than every night. Now the trick is, if you cut it, it's going to turn brown. So you want to leave it whole like this, and then when you're ready, we could have some salad tonight. Okay, now I'll rip it, and you want to rip it because it'll rip along the veins rather than if you cut it, it's cutting through the veins. So I just leave it like this, and the kids can do it. The kids can do it. The kids can pull the lettuce apart and wash the lettuce. Here, I'll put this over here. Okay, how's our fish doing, so how's the timer?
It's going off right now.
Hmm?
Just went off.
Okay. Okay, so I think what we'll do is, so after this sits for a little while, we're going to add the dressing. We'll do a green salad in the next class because we've already got this asparagus salad. So see, it looks cooked already. It's already soft. If we weren't filming this, I would probably leave it for maybe 20 minutes or so. So there's our salad. And we'll do, actually, okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pan sear our fish over here. So, what I like to do is I like to get my pan nice and hot. Actually, what I'll do is I'll put it like this. Okay, I want to get my pan nice and hot before I add the fish. I already have this fish soaking in the water with the salt, right? Is that too close? So I'm not going to add salt to it, and it's nice and tacky from the salt. The salt water pulls out the moisture and makes it nice and tacky when it's dry. So I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. This is a non-stick pan, so I don't really need a lot. And where's my little fish guy? So what I want to do is I want to make sure this is really searing. And then I am going to add this. So you want to put the side down that you're going to serve up. So you can decide what you like better and plop it down. And then we're not going to move it. So all protein has sugar in it, and we want that sugar to caramelize, and that's what gives that nice, sweet, brown, you can hear it, it's going to start to sizzle. Okay, so you can stay there, Steph, I'll come back over. Do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to plate our salad. Okay, so if you're a mama and you're just trying to get everybody fed, this is a little fancy. We're starting fancy, I have to admit, but it's delicious. So you can just put this in a bowl and put it on the table, but we're just going to make it look a little extra special. So I made sort of a bed of the salad like that. And we'll put a few sprigs of the fennel. This is from the fennel. Okay. So I can see, I don't know if you can see, but you can see that the fish is turning color. And so again, this should take about 8 minutes or so. I might take it off a little bit sooner than that because this one is smaller. And this, well, I don't think our potatoes are done, but I do think the fish is perfect. Yeah. And one of the main things about fish is that the reason people don't like it is it really is easy to overcook it. And that tends to be what happens. I think people eat sushi, but then they're afraid to eat fish that's not cooked all the way. So I'm just gonna set this on here. And you can feel that it's done, just like a steak, but you could also stick a thermometer in it. Or just see if you can flake it apart. If it flakes, that means it's ready. And then this guy. Okay, so here you can see the nice caramelization. And that probably needs to cook for about 4 more minutes. But I think what we'll do is we'll just in here. And the last thing I am going to do is I've got some beautiful sprouts, and we'll do more with sprouts. These you can get in the farmer's market, especially nice in the farmer's market. So this is a blend of clover and sunflower. Here's some little sunflower sprouts. So it just kind of adds a really pretty touch. And these are very nutritious. So maybe a lemon wedge, and we'll start with that. Okay? So lesson 1. And tomorrow we're going to do a lot more, or I should say in lesson 2. I keep saying tomorrow, but we'll do a lot more. And don't forget to email me, ask me questions, or just write down questions that you have for when you do our Zoom calls, okay? Okay, everybody. Thanks.